What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year. My name is Ryan Holsapple. Welcome to Sorting Myself Out. And a lot of you out there on our Discord server have been talking about your New Year's resolution. And I just thought I wanted to get a quick stream out to give you 5 tips about how you can accomplish your goals this year without getting caught in the typical failure that happens for people within the first month or two of the New Year's resolutions. So I've got 5 tips. Where do these tips come from? Well, these tips come from my training in psychology and life coaching, where I learned a lot about how we accomplish our goals and how we achieve what we want in our life, how we sustain it as a long-term project rather than as a short-term fix that never lasts. So it comes from my work with Dr. Strachan, it comes from my graduate school work, it comes from my life coaching training. There's all these places, and I've seen a lot in clients, the places where people get caught up and how to help them move forward. So here's my 5 tips for how you can sustain your resolutions and just make this a great year. Number 1 is visualize and imagine the state of being that you want to achieve. You see, so often we get caught up in the object of our desire. I want to be fit. I want the car. I want the good grades. I want. We want things. We trick ourselves to think we want things. Now, yes, of course you want things, but think about that for a second. What do you really want to change? Why do you want to be fit? Because you want to change the way you feel. And so go another layer deeper. As you're planning out your goals, I want to show you that if you imagine the state of being that you will feel when you achieve that goal, you're actually getting closer to the target. And the more you do that, the more your brain is going to program itself to automatically attune towards that goal. So it will come more naturally to wake up early and go to the gym. It'll come more naturally to do your homework. All these things will just happen on their own the more you visualize the state of being that you'll achieve, because it attunes your whole brain and nervous system towards what you want. When we only focus on the object, we make the mistake of literalizing it too much. We think, oh, what I really want is to be fit. And we stop there. But that's not what you really want. You want to feel different. And focus on the way you want to feel. So how do you visualize? Well, you can close your eyes and imagine the state of being, like a guided meditation you can find online. You can do it on your own. Imagine the state of being you will feel when you achieve that state. See yourself there. See yourself radiating, feeling the sense of accomplishment, feeling the sense of satisfaction, having achieved your goal of being fit. We'll continue to use that example. That is going to make a huge difference. Do that ritualistically, not just one time. You got to do it every day. You got to continue to imagine yourself in the state of being that you want to achieve. And when you're in that state of being, you're bringing it. So what you're doing is that you're bringing it from the future into the present moment. And when you do that, it makes you more likely to go do the things that you need to do to actually achieve what you're looking to achieve. So that, I cannot stress that enough. Tip number 1, visualize, imagine ritualistically the state of being that you want to achieve. Number 2, plan for mistakes. You are going to fuck up. I'm going to fuck up. We are not going to be perfect. We're going to sleep a few minutes past the alarm. We're going to miss a day at the gym. We're going to have reasons why we couldn't do that one homework assignment or whatever. The point is that nobody's going to do it perfectly. And the worst things that we can do to ourselves is beat ourselves up for making mistakes, because then you just continue to procrastinate, and before you know it, you haven't been working on your resolution. You haven't been doing what you're eating your new diet, going to the gym. You haven't been doing what you said you were going to do for a while because you couldn't deal with one mistake. You were not mistake proof. Being mistake proof is super important in achieving our goals. We have to learn how to just assimilate the lessons, gather in ourselves, and move forward quickly. One of the best things I learned, I took this martial arts training seminar, and I'm by no means a martial artist. I've only did that one seminar. But what they taught us as we were moving through these different sequences, we would have the tendency, my partner and I, to try to start the whole sequence over every time we made a mistake. So he's like, shit, we have to go back to the beginning. But the trainer kept saying, no, just keep moving forward. Make a mistake, move forward, keep going. Don't stop. Don't overthink it. Don't go back to the beginning and start over. Just move on. And that lesson, I can tell you, was so important in my life because I realized, oh my God, I do this metaphorically all the time. I make a mistake and I overanalyze it. I stop. I magnify it. I focus on it. And then before I know it, the boulder's rolling downhill and it has all this momentum towards failure because I just gave it too much energy. The best thing we can do is learn and move on as quickly as possible. Don't get hung up on the narrative that your brain will try to tell you, which is like, oh, this must mean I'm not able to do this. This must mean I'm not good enough. This must mean I can't accomplish this. All that negative bullshit is a waste of energy that only takes you back to square one. So watch out for that stuff. Plan for mistakes. We're all going to make them. We're not going to be perfect. For example, when I established my morning reading routine, which I had to do to really get the most out of graduate school, I knew I have to read at least 2 hours first thing every morning. If I don't do that, I'm just not meeting my own expectations for keeping up with my education and trying to go above and beyond and learning as much as I can. And so I started, and what happened was it wasn't perfect every morning. Some mornings it would only be an hour. Some mornings it would be an hour and a half. But the point is I always kept going. And now my life is at the point where it's pretty much at that 2 hour mark every single morning because I accepted the mistakes and I continued to move forward. I didn't judge myself too harshly on them and I just took it in stride. So keep moving forward, plan for mistakes. One bad day should not be enough to knock you off your path. It should just be a message that says, oh, great, I'm human, let's keep going. That's that simple. Forward mindset. People have a backwards mindset. They focus on what went wrong, they focus on overanalyzing it, and then they get tripped up and they don't really accomplish their goals. Tip number 3, allow the target to move as you experiment. When we experiment with our goals, what we want tends to change. I mean, if you think, okay, I want to go to the gym 6 days a week, experiment with that. But it's okay if you decide while you're experimenting, actually, 6 days doesn't work for me, I'm going to do 5, or I'm going to do 7, or I'm going to do this workout routine instead of that. I mean, obviously, we need to stick with what we say we're going to do. That's important in accomplishing goals. And it's also important that we allow the target to move because that's what learning and growing as a human being is all about. It's about seeing what I want is different now. What did I learn? Why is it different? Well, I learned that when I work out in this way, it doesn't quite help me build muscle as much, so I'm going to change my strategy. Or whatever. I learned that when I try to read in the afternoon for 2 hours, I am tired and I don't want to read for 2 hours, so I'm going to change it to the morning. Be flexible and adaptive. Rigidity is not friendly to accomplishment. Neither is chaos. Neither is going all out and just being too lax and unstructured. But definitely rigidity is not your friend when you're trying to accomplish a goal. You want to have the spirit of the quest rather than the letter of the law. So remember that. Just be adaptable. Focus on that state of being, like I said in number 1. That will allow you to be adaptable because you're committed to the core essence of what you're trying to achieve, the state of being that you can feel and imagine, and you should ritualize that enough to the extent that when you close your eyes, you can just bring it up right away, and it becomes almost like this extrasensory toolkit, this backpack that you can put on and bring with you everywhere you go. So you should always be able to change without getting knocked off your path. You should always be adaptable, and if you are connected to the spirit of what you're doing, the vision, the deeper need, the commitment, then you will still keep going even if you make some minor adaptations. Number 4, create a mindset of gratitude. You know, one of the things that we can do that is really helpful is frame our goals in gratitude. I learned this from a guy named Larry Kendall. And what you can do is say, I'm grateful that I go to the gym every day. I'm grateful that I read every morning. Because when you focus it on in that sense, it's like it already is. I'm just glad I'm doing it. It focuses on the positive rather than being in a state of deficiency that you have to constantly try to mitigate and fix. So focus on the positive. I'm grateful for all the things in my life. I'm grateful for these goals that I am accomplishing. I'm grateful that I'm learning so much. I'm grateful that I'm exercising so much. I'm grateful that I'm eating healthy. When you see, this is all brain stuff, okay? Everything I'm telling you is neuroscientifically applicable because it's training your brain what to focus on. Okay, the reason we don't accomplish the things that we think we want is because we haven't attuned our brains to focus on those things. Our brains have default states, automatic states. They want to snap back to those old neural pathways. Well, when you're changing something, you're focusing on new pathways, and you have to be consistent and patient to build them. And don't be surprised, like I said in number 2, if you make some mistakes. The brain is going to snap back to other things that it used to do. But if you continue to use an economy of force as you move forward and to just get a little bit better at a time, I promise you in the long term, all the things that you're looking at accomplishing will become a lot easier. Number 5, this one's really important too. Always celebrate progress. People are so fixated, including myself, oftentimes on focusing on what's not good enough and missing the things that we are doing right. It's like we've got the magnifying glass on everything that's wrong with us, and so we miss the things, oh, I did that pretty good. And it doesn't mean being pompous or arrogant or overly self-indulgent at all. It just means notice the things that you're doing that are working and celebrate those things. It can be as simple as journaling about them. Today I'm celebrating the fact that I went to the gym for a week straight. Sharing with a friend, hey man, I'm doing great on this new goal. Like, allow yourself to be in a celebration of what you're working on and what you're accomplishing, because that will really help you and your brain to continue that momentum. When we don't celebrate, it can kind of squash the spirit of what we're trying to accomplish. It can take a lot away from the beauty of what's there, and it can ultimately lead to a state of sterility and rigidity where everything is not that fulfilling, and so we are less likely to continue doing it. It's very important to celebrate yourself, celebrate what you are doing well, and start from the positive rather from the negative, because that will build momentum. The more that we continue to do that, the more that we will have positive energy and positive momentum to accomplish our goals in life. And it's just that simple. Again, I can't stress this enough. The negative train of thinking is always going to tell us that we can't do it, we're not enough, it's not enough, oh, we must not be prepared enough. It's going to have all these reasons why we can't. I can't do it because of this. I made this mistake because I'm not good enough. And the more that we buy into that, the more that we're screwed over, because we fundamentally have lost the chess match against our old brain patterns, where it naturally wants to gravitate towards that old self, towards that old way of being, towards that old set of patterns. And it's just that simple. So you have to kind of see the long game here and be like, okay, this whole thing, this whole messaging that I'm getting about negativity, it's really not serving me. It's not going to help me. It's not going to help me improve. And it's certainly only doing damage to me in this moment. Now, that being said, there are moments where fear can be a positive motivating factor. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to fail my class. I don't want to do this. That's fine. And I think Dr. Jordan Peterson does a good job explaining that, to have a hell to move away from and a heaven to move towards. That's all very important. So keep in mind that whatever the fears that you're using to motivate you, just keep them in check, keep them in balance. Don't let them get out of control. Allow them to be a reason to be more positive in your life and to move in those directions that you want, rather than as a reason to beat yourself up and to stall yourself from moving forward. I hope that these tips were helpful for you. I really have seen this work in people's lives, with clients, with friends, with myself, and I think that if you take them all in and consider how they could apply to you and create routines and mindsets around them, I think that you'll find it very helpful in accomplishing your goals this year. Why did I make this video? Because when I saw you all, a lot of our audience and friends talking in our Discord server, a lot of people talking about resolutions, and I just figured, okay, well, here's what I have to offer on that. I really want to help. I really want to see all of you go out there and kick ass and feel good about your lives. So that's what I have to offer on this subject. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this was helpful, or what you would add. What advice do you have for our friends out there of things that they can do to ensure that they'll accomplish their goals and to continue living the lives that they want to live? This is Sorting Myself Out. My name is Ryan Holsapple. You can hit the like button. You can subscribe. You can leave a comment. Any of those things are very helpful for the channel as we continue to face the interesting algorithms on YouTube and things like that. And just we love knowing when people are enjoying our stuff. In any case, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Happy New Year. And I will be in touch soon. The reason I did this live is because I have an incredibly busy week right now, so I didn't have time to do any editing, but I really wanted to at least get this video out there. I will talk to you all soon, and I should get another video up within 10 days.